Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday! We finally have a husband reveal, you guys. What the fuck? I'm so glad I put at the end of the episode last Friday that it was going to happen. Like, it was still very much like, and then I just did it. When I tell you, I haven't been like that nervous or like anxious, I don't know the right term, in so long. Like, I was fine. I woke up, I'm like, it's happening, cool. I had things to do. I did the podcast. I did this. I did that. And then I was trying to get things done. I had the car that day. I needed to go, well, actually, I wanted to go shopping. But then I'm like, okay, Brenna, let's not, because the traffic, like, it was so stupid. It was like 2:30, but I'm like, okay, you're going to want to be home like at a decent time. That way, even though the post was queued up, well, actually, I'm texting my best friend Chelsea before, and I'm like, okay, these are the photos I have. I had a selfie in there from way back in the day, like 2023, and really, I had it in there because I think that Carter looked good, and not that I needed to add another photo. And like 1 minute prior to posting, we're texting, and she's like, no, keep it. And I exited it out, and then I deleted it, and then I added it, and then I was like, fuck it. Then it was 5. I was like, my hands were sweating. I was sitting on my couch. I had the cord coming to my phone because my phone was dying because I had been on it for the hour prior, like waiting. Oh my gosh. I was literally, I don't even know what I was stressed about. It just felt like a big moment. It was a big moment, kind of. Like, it's 2.5 years of me talking about my sweet, precious husband and you having no idea what he looks like. That is him. That's the love of my life. The man I've been talking about every single week, all the time. He is my angel. I did get a few questions, which I know you all listening here know that I'm not going to do a name reveal, which, like, again, these things are so fucking stupid. But as kind as you guys are, and like, I know nobody here would do anything, I just don't want it to be easily accessible because heaven forbid. I actually just watched an episode. Hi, sorry. Welcome to the pod. I feel like this would not be my podcast without me just like stumbling over my words. Avery Woods, whose podcast was she on? I have no idea. Who was that? I don't know. Some girl. It popped up on my YouTube feed because an interest of mine is other creators. Now that I'm in this space, like, I'm just always curious, like, what their business model is. You all know my favorite podcast ever is Diary of a CEO. I just like entrepreneurship and like business is just something that I enjoy and it interests me. And like these big creators are really entrepreneurs at the end of the day and they have businesses, whatever. I'm not a huge anybody stan. I'm trying to think like who online. There are people that I enjoy, but I don't like consistently keep up with people. Like Avery Woods, I see her. I always enjoy what I'm seeing. That's it. I don't know the ins and outs of her life, but she's obviously a boss. Have you seen this new house in California that they bought? That always piques my interest. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And as much as this is like a hot take and I shouldn't judge people, but something that's so common, and I get it because these girls are making like literal millions. Like Avery Woods, like to be able to buy that house and renovate that house, like she's making millions, right? Her husband is a stay-at-home dad, which I'm not against stay-at-home dads or dads not working, but I do see in the influencer space a lot. Well, this is different. Actually, I respect that. It's like, I feel a lot of these New York City influencers, like their boyfriends just like straight up don't do anything. Like they don't even have kids. And like the boyfriend's just like kind of bumming around, which to each their own. Again, if they're making tons of money, that's fine. But it just could not be further from my reality, which doesn't make it correct or wrong. Again, we all know I'm a judgmental bitch. It doesn't really mean anything, but like Carter would never. Carter needs to have his own career. He's like, no, that would like never be a thing. I don't know. I'm just like, what are you doing? That one woman who's a mother, she has 2 kids. I don't really watch her because she like exploits the fuck out of her children. Queen something, her husband's an attorney. And I'm like, damn, they're crushing it. I'm just like, go do your own thing. Like, yeah, that's wonderful. It goes both ways. Like, it's like me technically, sure. Could I not work? yes, and Carter's like income, we would be fine. But it's like, I want two people being boss ass bitches. That's just like what I want for everybody. If you have a man who makes a lot of money, and then if somebody's a stay-at-home parent, like stay-at-home parents are a full-time job. Me and Carter were actually just talking about this because there's a woman who is on leave right now, maternity leave. I think I touched on this in a morning vlog, maybe. And he was like, I cannot imagine like birthing a baby and taking care of a baby for, I think the leave at his current firm is 4 months, and then coming back and just like grinding, because he's been working so much, you guys. He has been working. I haven't seen him the past 3 nights. I've gotten into bed. He gets home 8:30. I make him dinner or grab him dinner, and then he goes upstairs and eats at the desk, and then I get into bed and I read, and then I fall asleep. I haven't even seen him. This morning was really bad, and I did it because I didn't want him to look during work, but we finally got his first paycheck from this new job because, you know, it takes a little bit. He's only been there like 3 weeks now. Oh, also, we've gone over the billable hours, right? Like that is what attorneys do. You have to bill every single minute that you're like doing something for a client, right? In the past 2 weeks, he has billed over 110 hours, which is what? Almost 60 hours. It's about 55. It's exactly 55. I don't think that's the exact number. 55 hours a week of billable time, like 55 hours a week. I'm sure there's plenty of you out there. I mean, back in the day, I guess if you count, I mean, I worked when I was a full-time student, I worked 60, 70 hour weeks. However, that is like time he's doing actual matters. Like that's not like the fluff around time when he's like finding something. Like that's like him working. That means that he's like actually working and at work and like doing things. Oh my gosh. It's been crazy. Oh, but this morning we got the first paycheck, and a few things are different. Obviously, it was a pay increase, but now I'm on the health insurance. Therefore, that's getting taken out, an extra person. We also are contributing again to the Roth or the 401k. I think we're taking 8% or 10% from his paycheck. And I'm trying to think what else. At the end of his last firm, we stopped the 401k maybe 2 months prior because we were really trying to get the student loans under 100,000, which we did. But we had been taking 10% of the paychecks. So his paychecks was a certain number. Well, we stopped doing that. So then it got upped, obviously, because we were getting that money. Well, now at this new firm, he did get like a significant pay increase, but with the health insurance and the tax bracket, I'm sure changed. And then the Roth being back up, the paycheck was like the same as those last paychecks at his old firm. And I knew that he's really like kind of overwhelmed at the moment. I mean, y'all, the Carter reveal, I haven't even told him that I posted it, because here was the thing. We've talked about it plenty. Like it's been fine. It's been whatever. I told him on Friday after the podcast came out, and I got messages from you guys. I was like, let me just like confirm with Carter. I'm like, I think I'm going to do it Tuesday and then bring back the Tuesday dumps, because that was so fun. And honestly, when I posted the Carter reveal, I was like so excited. Like it brought me back to when we were dating, probably because I'm sharing him. Like that was an exciting moment in and of itself. But like I loved sharing. Like I loved the weekly photo dumps. Like I feel the most connected, obviously with you guys on here, but like then online too, because there's a lot of people that like are trying to keep up on TikTok and Instagram that don't listen to the podcast, which I totally respect. But like the sharing has been all over the place. Anywho, I told him on Friday, and then Saturday, well, I was with the nanny fam, which we'll get into. Holy fuck, you guys. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you this story. I was with the nanny fam. Carter came over Saturday night for like an hour or two to eat with us, and then he couldn't stop thinking about work. He'd been working all day. He still had stuff to do. He left. I didn't see him till midday Sunday. Again, he was working, and he told me on either Saturday or Sunday, he's like, do not tell me when you post, because he is just like anxious about the internet. I explained this to somebody else. Carter, when he did have social media, we're talking Facebook. I don't know what year this was. I think he was maybe in high school or college. It was right before he deleted socials, which I think he deleted in 2019. I don't know, let's say 2018 then. He made a comment on something. I don't even remember. Like, it's so stupid, but people did not like it. It was something San Diego specific. Like, it had something to do with San Diego. I don't really know. And he commented something, and it like basically he got like a ton of responses on this comment, like people attacking him. At the time, he was working at his dad's doctor's office and had that in his Facebook because you put where you work or whatever. People went to his dad's clinic, his office, his doctor's office, and wrote bad reviews. Like, basically, Carter got canceled when he wasn't even a person online. Right. That brings him a lot of trauma. Like, he doesn't bring it up often because we never talk about him being on social, but when I brought it up, he's like, I'm just worried, like, what if something happens? Like, again, now he has his actual own life and he works at this company, right? Like, if that were to happen to him, I would never be able to like live it down, which I'm like, nothing could happen. Like, there's nothing, but this is where we're going back to Avery Woods. Avery Woods, people started calling her clinic. She was a nurse. They started calling her office, showing up. They called the police station to try and get her husband in trouble for like, I don't even know what, like her posting something online. Like, these things happen. I've told you guys that Alex Cooper, she was in London with her now husband. People called the police on her. They literally had the police show up in London because people on an online forum were saying that she was breaking COVID protocol. Literally, police showed up, like things like that. And like, I'm not as big as these women, but like the fact that that can even happen in the first place is exactly why I'm just gonna like, of course, now that people know what Carter looks like, Brenna, could people find him online, like through his work? I'm sure, right? Like, if you're insane. However, I'm just not going to make that easily accessible to people who don't know me, because I don't think anybody that knows me and follows along would do that. It would be some random people who break out in outrage over a video, which I'm not even going to try and do anything controversial. I never do. But like, let's say it happens because people take problem with everything. I just don't want that to be like easily accessible, right? I want some levels of protection for him. But anywho, I feel like we just jumped from here to there, but that kind of wrapped all of that up. I'm so excited. I also now am thinking about, which this is so weird, I'm like, if we have children in the future, I can share like cute little pregnancy photos and the announcements. And like, now you guys are really tapped in. He won't be like an active participant. Right. He's not somebody who wants to be on camera. There are people who like being on camera and are good at that. He would not be that person. I've never even tried. And I just like honestly wouldn't want him. Like, it's kind of cringe. Sorry. For me, like, I like that he's offline and doesn't want to be a part of it. That's hot to me. Right. Anywho, now let's back it up to staying with the nanny fam. You guys, I had no idea what I was signing up for. And I don't think anybody did, right? Friday. I'm not sure if anything happened during the day. I don't think so. I Uber over there at about 5 p.m. Carter wasn't home. He was still at work. And Nanny Boy is there. I'm going to call him A. We'll call Nanny Boy A and Nanny Girl E. Okay. A is home from school. Somebody dropped him off and he is there with his friend X. They are hanging out, and I told you that there was a football game for their high school. They are sophomores, 15 and 16. Some of them can drive because they are 16, right? A, Nanny Boy, is 15. He can't drive yet, but he has his permit. Well, they're hanging out. They have a friend who's going to come over. The football game's at 7. Amazing. A and X are eating and hanging out. Actually, I don't think X was there when I got there. I think he showed up and then their other friend, and then they left. I ran to the dry cleaning with the Tesla because I Ubered over with Carter's clothes. That way I could just drive the Tesla. I left, I came back, and A told me that E came home, threw her backpack, and then left again. The girls in her class or her little group of friends were all going to the football game as well, and one of the moms was taking care of them. I didn't see her with my own eyes, but she stopped by, and then 7 or 6:30, or actually before then, 6:15, A and all of his friends leave. One of them can drive, a very trusted, oh my gosh, you guys, the boys, like they all give me a hug and they're like, hey Brenda, like, oh my gosh, they're hysterical. Like all of his friends, I'm like, hey guys, I used to like drop them off, and like I was close with them. Obviously I was at like their baseball games and so on and so forth, but anywho, they all go to the game. I sit there. Oh my gosh, I started watching the Abducted, what was that called? Abducted in Plain Sight on Netflix. After Unknown Number came out, I was seeing a lot of discourse online about people were saying that like Unknown Number was not that crazy compared to Abducted in Plain Sight, Kidnapped in Plain Sight, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. I'll just watch this. I'm sitting here. The kids are at the football game. Amazing. I'm sitting there with Judah, their whatever kind of dog, their black doodle. It's like actually something else, but whatever. I watched this documentary. I didn't finish it. That reminds me, I need to finish it. It was really good. It was kind of crazy. The only problem I have with this documentary is that it's kind of old. I don't know when it came out, but you can just tell, like, it's not like a new Netflix documentary. Like, I feel some of these Netflix documentaries are so good. Like, they are just videographed. Is that what you call that? Videography? It's just like done so well. This one's like a little bit older, and you can just tell like the style of the people and the way that they're talking. And I don't know, these people were so naive. Oh my gosh. Also, they're LDS, they're Mormon. I was like, oh my gosh, the Mormons, they kill me. Anywho, I'm sitting there, I'm watching this, and then all of a sudden I see children walking up to the door. And if you saw the morning vlogs, a lot of the nanny fam's house is glass, and therefore you can see people coming up from the street, right? But I will say there is like this big planter. So there's like this big thing of like plants, tall plants. They're not trees, but they kind of look like trees, but they're really tall. And the walkway comes up, and then you have to go around that, and then you walk up. But like you can see people coming from a little ways away. I see kids coming, but it's dark out at this point. It's probably, let's say, 8:30. I open the door, and it's Nanny Boy and all of his friends. I saw one of the girls. Actually, there were two girls. One of them is like their very close family friends. When I went to the Hamptons, theirs is the house, Brenna. Well, how do I say that? Their house is where I stayed. This girl is in the boys' grade, and then actually they have a young boy who's in nanny girl's grade. Therefore, they're just very close. They met in Manhattan. They're Jewish as well, and this is like their closest family friend. But the girl and her very best friend, and then 3 boys come in. They all give me a hug, and they come and they fucking go crazy. They, raid the fridge, and then they go into the backyard. I shut off the documentary because I'm like, I don't want to freak these kids out. Not necessarily them, but I knew if they were here that nanny girl was probably going to be coming home soon, because their school is so bad at sports. Their school is horrendous at sports. And the sophomores told me, they're like, we'll probably be home at halftime because we'll be getting kicked in the ass. Our ass is kicked. I'm like, okay, great. Well, they're outside, whatever. It's like 8:30, and then they come in, and A is really good. Let me also set the scene for these children. A is 15. E is turning 13 next month, in less than a month. They are wonderful kids. Like, they are very communicative. They're very smart. They're very mature. You guys know how much I love Nanny Mom and Dad. They're just like the most normal, humble, like fun, loving people. Like, really, I just love them as a family so much. A comes up to me and he's like, we're going to go get Froyo right over here. Like, he always makes sure to tell me like what's going on and where he's going and what's happening. They all go to get Froyo, and one of them can drive. Therefore, whatever, pop off. It's right down the street. Amazing. I don't give a shit, right? I trust them. I spoke to obviously nanny mom prior. Like she gave me the idea, the kids will probably come home with friends. Nobody's staying over, or, there might be a sleepover, but we'll like get that figured out. They were in Aspen for a bat mitzvah. I think, is that the same time zone? No, it's 1 hour behind. Therefore they were up as well. Nanny mom's checking in, not that often, but just saying like, how's everything going? Whatever. Well, like minutes after they leave, all of the sudden, again, I'm sitting on the couch. I started the documentary. 8 little girls are running up the doorstep, and like little, I'm talking 12 years old. They're in the 7th grade. Nanny girl's in the 7th grade. All of her friends run up to the door. I open it and I'm like, oh my gosh. I know 4 or 5 of them from like driving around, and like they were her close friends. A couple of them I didn't know. They come in, they tear up the pantry like you've never seen before. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's fine. I'm like trying to be there if they need anything, but not be like overbearing. I'm just kind of sitting on the couch, like looking at a magazine, whatever. They're doing their thing. They're making little TikToks. One of the little girls comes up to me who I don't know. Okay, little, they're not that little. They're in 7th grade. One of the girls comes up to me and she's like, oh, they ran home. I told you that the school they were playing at, it's probably like from house to school, half a mile, but obviously you have to go down the roads, but like not that far. But they ran home. They did not get a ride from one of the moms. They literally ran, and it's like dark outside. It's 8:30, but they're in a nice neighborhood. Okay, not the end of the world. One of the girls comes up to me and she's like, okay, if my mom asks you, can you tell her that you drove us? And I'm like, I love the idea, girlfriend. I am not lying to your mother. Like, I'm an adult. I get it. When you're a kid, you think these things are like really big deals. Brenna, a really big deal? Oh my God, I'm literally an idiot. However, maybe she has strict parents, but I'm like, I'm not going to lie to this girl's mom. I was like, I'm not going to lie. I apologize, but like, it's no biggie. You can lie to your mother, but if she does ask me, right, if you guys walked or if I picked you guys up, I'm not lying, right? And then she was tweaking and everybody was going to be like, but like, she's really strict. And I'm like, guys, please. Sorry, no. Like, I didn't want to like ruin their fun, but then obviously it didn't matter. It never got brought up again. They go into the backyard, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, there are 3 mothers walking up. I know one of them, she lives on the same exact street, down the street. Nanny girl was close with her daughter like 3 years ago, right when I first started, and then they kind of lost touch, and apparently they're friends again. Well, I knew her, and then I kind of knew one of them just like from being around, the school and whatnot. And then the other one I didn't know, but I was like, hey guys, like come on in. And at this point, Nanny girl was trying to tell me that she was going to have a sleepover with all of these girls. There's 8 of them. I'm like, I personally don't really give a shit. I'm like, your mom definitely does not think that's the deal. And I don't think, not that nanny mom, if she was there, wouldn't be okay with it, because they are cool. Like, that's what I'm saying. The parents are so cool. Like, as long as everybody knows, we call the parents, like, that's fine. But I was like, I don't think your mom would have made me watch 8 girls. Like, heaven forbid, like they're 7th graders and they're capable and like nothing would happen. But I'm like, I don't know about that. I was like, talk to your mother. Well, the moms come in. I'm like, this is all kind of happening at the same time. And they ask me, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no fucking clue. I don't know who's getting picked up. I don't know who's staying. I don't know. And one of the moms is really close with nanny mom. And all of a sudden they're on the phone, and I stayed inside again. I was trying not to be a bother, but the moms went out to the backyard. Well, all of a sudden this mom comes in and she's like, E is trying to tell me that everybody's staying. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's the thing. Oh, I know what happened. One of the girls, E's very best friend, was on a call with her mom. No talks of a sleepover had happened at this point. Everybody's just like talking. The moms weren't there yet. And this girl's like begging her mom to let her stay. And the second I heard that, I wasn't like, in the business. I was sitting on the couch, but I heard this conversation happening. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a trend. Like, everybody's going to want to ask their moms. Like, I could see it happening, right? E had not come up and said anything. The moms come, they go to the backyard, and then the one mom comes in and she's like, E is saying that everybody's sleeping over. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that nanny mom agreed to that, right? And this mom was like, yeah, I don't think that she would want you. Not that you're not capable. She's like, not that I don't think you could, but I don't think she intended on all of these girls staying. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. She gets on the phone with Nanny Mom. Nanny Mom asks to speak to E. E comes in and she's like, Mom. Of course, she's like trying. And she's like, no. She's like, 2 can stay because they had a bat mitzvah in the morning. And this one mom was the one who was going to pick her up in the morning anyway. Therefore, she was going to let her daughter stay because she was going to have to come and pick her up anyway. Right? Then her very best friend, the one who was like crying to her mother, also stayed. She didn't get an invite to the bat mitzvah, but she lives like right up the road and her mom could come pick her up in the morning. And this all is happening, right? He's upset that not everybody can stay. And then we're trying to figure out how the hell these girls are getting home. We go to the backyard. We're like, who's getting picked up? Because there's only 3 moms. The one mom of the daughter who's going to stay, 2 moms for 2 of the girls, but there's like 4 other girls that I don't know. I don't even know 3 of them. I don't know their parents, right? But like, it's 9 p.m. I'm like, they can stay for like a little bit. You know, I'm happy to make sure the parents come. Like, of course, I'm not going to kick them out on the street. Like, Nanny Boy is still out. He hasn't come back yet. Well, the moms finally figure it all out. They're going to go down to the other mom's house who lives right down the street, take all of the girls. Some will get picked up from there. Then the one primary mom who's going to pick E up tomorrow is going to bring those 2 other girls back that are sleeping over. I'm like, I don't want to deal with the awkwardness of telling some girls that they can't stay while these other 2 are, and whatever. We all walk out to the front. Okay, all 8 little girls, 3 moms, and me. And everybody's just standing there. Some girls are calling their parents, trying to figure out who's getting dropped off, who's getting picked up. And I go back inside. I stood out there for a while. I'm like, glad you guys got this all taken care of. Thank you so much. Like, I'll be here. I can, if anybody needs a ride, I'll drive them. Like, I'm more than accommodating. It's no big deal. Like, I'm up. I have to take care of these kids anyways. Whatever. I go back inside because they're kind of just standing there. My biggest pet peeve on this goddamn planet, like literally my biggest pet peeve ever, is in any social situation where people are standing around, especially like this typically happens when, let's say you're leaving a bar or a restaurant or an event. You leave the restaurant, everybody stands saying goodbye. I'm the first person to fucking walk to my car. What are we like people stop? I like don't understand what that is. I'm like, let's move. I get it if you're saying goodbye, you're in a conversation, but if you're not, like people are just like, I'm always the first one out of there, right? Like the standing around, everybody was standing around, the girls, the moms. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back inside. Like, I'm just kind of lingering. Like, I don't need to be out here. They're going, and then the girls are going to get dropped off, whatever, right? I go inside. All of the sudden, A walks in. Nanny Boy walks in the door. And I'm like, oh, hey, A, how are you? How was the game? How was Froyo? And he's like, good, whatever. He's grabbing food. And then he's walking up the stairs. And they have an open floor plan, right? This is where shit gets juicy. I don't think you guys are ready. I'm standing over by the drink fridge, and from there looking out, the island is to my left, the stairs are straight up in front of me, and then to the right is the living room with the glass and the front door. And I'm like still kind of in conversation with Nanny Boy, but he's like walking up the stairs, right? He's going up the stairs. And all of a sudden I look over to the door, and his friend who was at the house earlier, one of his very best friends, one of his very good friends, is at the door, and he opens. I'm like, oh, hey, X. And I'm like, hey, X is here, because he can't see because he's like halfway up the stairs. And he's like, oh, and he comes down and he walks over to him. And then X was like, do you want to talk in the back or in the front? Or like, do you want to go out back or out front? Or I don't know. And this was a boy, he was over before the football game. When they came back, they went and got Froyo together, right? Like, this is that boy. And there were others, but this is like one of them. And he lives like 3 streets down. And all of a sudden they walk out the front door, and I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like 9:30, but the girls are still standing out front, right? Like this all happened within a matter of, I don't know how many minutes. All of the sudden, like they walk out and then some of the girls are walking towards the door, like kind of running. And one of the girls is like, what just happened? And I'm like, what do you mean? What just happened? She's like, between A and X. And I'm like, I don't know. Like he just showed up and they're going, I don't, what do you mean? What just happened? And the mom, or like the little girl, nanny girl's like very best friend who knows this guy well. And nanny girl obviously knows him well too from baseball. Like they're very close friends. It's like one of his best friends. They're telling me that like this ex, the boy, pulled up. He can drive as well. Pulled up like so fast in the front, and the front of the street, it doesn't have sidewalks, and like there's this little area where there are rocks, and that's kind of where you pull up and park. Well, apparently he pulled up like so fast, came to a stop, opened the door, ran to the front door, and he looked pissed. And nanny girl was like, that is the most angry I've ever seen him. And she's like, I've seen him angry like at baseball and other things. Like I've never seen him that pissed. And I'm like, wait, what the hell? Like I did not pick up on that at all, because when he came in the door, I'm sure he like saw me. He's like, where? And he asked me when he opened the door, he's like, where's A? And I'm like, oh, A, like X is here, right? Like but he didn't, I didn't catch on at all, but I didn't see all of that. Well, they're telling me, and then they asked me, where did they go? And I'm like, I don't know. And apparently they just took off down the street, like talking, like walking and talking. And I'm like, this is best friend. Like, I don't know. Like, what would he be mad? I'm kind of like, what? Like, it's his best friend. Like, what's happening? I walk out to the front, and the one mom who's very close with the nanny fam now, the one that I like kind of knew but didn't know, she knows the ex family because he has like 4 sisters. Again, they all go to school. It's like a pretty small school, and like everybody's intertwined, and like he's a great kid and his parents are very kind. Like no reason, like this isn't somebody, and like no offense to both of the boys, they're like scrawny little sophomores. Like they're both tall. They're both like 6'1", but like what you guys, like they're acting like they're going to fist fight. And I'm like, you guys think they're going to fight? Like, what are you talking about? And the one mom who knows them is like, oh, like, yeah, she was like, no, he was like very angry. She like confirmed that, but she's like, I don't know. They went and walked and talked, and the kid's car is still sitting in front of the house. So I'm like, okay, like whatever. Well, the other mom who lives down the street is on the phone with her husband saying like, we might need you over here. Like she full on thinks like A and his friend are going to like get into a fight. I'm like, what the like, and now all of the, like the little girls, they all saw him come up like so angry. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Right. I'm not worried, but I'm like also in charge. And I'm like, should I be nervous? But like, that's his best friend. They were hanging out before, during, and after. Like, I'm like so confused. I'm like literally so confused. The mom gets off the phone. She's like, do you, like, my husband's on standby. Like, do you think that we need him? I'm like, no, I don't think. Like, it's fine. I'll get everything under control. Don't worry about it. They have to come back here. His car is here. Like, it's his best friend. Like, if they didn't get into a fist fight, like, also, I don't think they're going to get into a fist fight, but I'm like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Well, thankfully, she was like, do you have my number? Like she literally lives on the same street, just like 1 block over. And I'm like, yeah, she pulled up my contact. She's like, if you need anything, if you need my husband, like let me know. And I'm like, okay, got it. Don't think I'll need that, but whatever. Well, finally, all of the girls and the 3 moms take off down the road. They're walking to the house, which is like 0.3 miles probably. They're all walking. And then nanny girl is going to get dropped off with the 2 friends that are staying with that main mom again, right? She's going to drop them off. And she was also like, I'm going to be right back in 10 minutes. Like, I'll check, if I see them on the street, whatever. She was also not super worried about it. She's like, no, he definitely looked angry. Like something's going on, but like, whatever. So now they all walk and I get into the house and I'm just like, should I be nervous? Should I go out there? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Nanny mom texts me in that moment and goes, how's it going? And clearly she doesn't know about that. Oh, that was the other thing. The mom was like, should I tell nanny mom? Like, should I call her? And I'm like, no, I don't think you need to. Like, what the fuck is she going to do? She's in Aspen. Like, no, I'll explain, right? Like, it's fine. Well, I get back in the house, like literally moments after. She texts me like, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, like the girls just left, her friend and her friend are going to stay. That's all figured out, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, just so you know, like X showed up at the house. They've been hanging out all night. Let me actually read you verbatim. Oh my gosh, Brenna, you have the text messages. I'm going to say it obviously without the names. Let me back it up. Okay, because this is funny. Friday, 9:06 p.m. Wait. Okay, this is 9:06. How's it going over there? I said, it is a party if I've ever seen one. Chicky has her friends over and A was here for a second, but they ran out to get froyo. All good here. I said, what are the rules for sleepovers for the chicken? We call her the chicken, or they did, and I accumulated it. I feel like that's safe to say because that would never give away her identity. I said, what's the rules for the sleepover for chicken? Is that okay? I don't care, LOL. And she goes, how many girls are there, with like the ghost emoji? Is Judah okay? I said, I think there are 7 total at the moment. I said, this one. I said, I don't know a few of them. Judah is great. She said, okay, as long as they aren't being crazy. I said, they don't all want to stay, but just in case, because H is already asking, blah, 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 blah. I was just like getting ahead of it. That was before the mom showed up. 10:26. Okay, so this is the moment when the girls took off and then Nanny Boy is like off with his friend getting in a fist fight or something. How's it going, Brenna Boo? They used to call me, or I guess still do, call me Brenna Boo. It's good, except I think A and X are in some sort of fight, not an actual fist fight, but something weird is going on. They are walking around the neighborhood talking. I wasn't going to text this whole thing, and they were at a dinner. They were at a bat mitzvah. It was the Friday night welcome dinner. I was like, I don't need to bother her with a phone call. She said, just the 2 of them? I said, yes, and A is not answering me, but X's car is still out front. She goes, where are the other two boys that they were with? Sorry, there's so much drama. I said, it's been a whole thing. I was inside and A got dropped off. I'm not even going to edit that out. Who gives a shit? A got dropped off while the girls and the moms were out front, blah, 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 blah. Like I explained what happened. She said, oh my, so much intrigue. I'm so sorry. She felt bad that I was up past my bedtime. I said, no, it's okay. The girls are all here now, chatting and hanging. I just wish the boys would come back and settle their beef here. That way I could go to bed. And she said, are the girls okay? And she goes, OMG. I said, girls are totally fine. All the other girls found a way home some way, somehow, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm texting A, and at this point, I've seen him walk by a few times. So I've laid my eyes on them, but now it's what time is it? Let me pull up the text with him. I texted him at 9:50. Where did you go? I texted him 10:03. It was 11. Oh, let me pull up my call log. I'm sitting in Nanny Dad's office because it's closest to the front of the house and it's dark. That way I could see out onto the street. It's at the very front and it's not covered by anything. And this is where I saw the boys walking around. I'm like, okay, they're good. The boy's car is still here. He'll have to come back, right? I'm paying attention. The girls are fucking sitting and eating snacks. It's 11 p.m. Let me see when he called me. Friday night at 10:54. The boys had been gone. Again, she texted me at 10:30, which meant the nanny boy left at 10:15. Oh, I guess about an hour. Wait, that's not correct. When did I text him and ask where he goes? 9:50. And I did not text him for a little bit because I wasn't nervous. And then as I sat there while the girls were all gone, I was like, should I be nervous? Should I be worried that they're out past 9:30? So I texted him at 9:50. Where did you go? He left at 9:30. Nanny Dad is calling me at 10:50. They've been gone for an hour and a half walking and talking. But Nanny Dad calls me and he's like, hey, Brenna, what's going on? And I'm like, here's the situation. I'm sure Nanny Mom explained to him. I'm like, I've seen them walk past, and I've seen them walk past now quite a few times. So they must only be going to around this little block. And he's like, okay, cool, fine and dandy. He's like, but X's dad is calling me asking where he is and he wants your number. can you tell him to like just call his dad back or like go home or like get them to like quit fucking walking around the neighborhood at 11 p.m. And A wasn't answering anybody either. He wasn't answering me. And then I'm sure his mom started to call him because it's late. And I think they have his location. I don't know if he turned it off, but like he wasn't answering, and clearly X wasn't answering his parents either. And it is 11 and like that's not okay. I get that, right? Whatever. Well, at this moment, I get off the phone with Nanny Dad and I walk out the front steps, and here they're walking up, right? They're like literally walking towards me in this moment. A is on the phone and I hear Nanny Mom screaming at him like, what the fuck, A? Like, you don't answer. Like, we need to know where you are, blah, 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 blah. X comes over and like gives me a hug. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just, dealing with this, shithead or whatever, talking about A. I'm like, huh? No, fine. Or it's fine. Or like, no problem, whatever. And then I'm like, but A's dad just called me and told me that your dad wants to know where you are. And he's like really concerned. So like, can you call him or like drive home? He lives 3 streets down. Like, please, like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble, whatever. Well, A walks in, and of course the girls are sitting there and they're nosy as fuck. They want to know what goes on. But like, he just went up the stairs. We walked in. I'm like, are you good? Is everything good? And he's like, yeah, like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not going to press him. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't give a shit about all the details, but it turned into like this big thing, right? I'm just like, but like, what the fuck was that? Like, you guys are sophomores. You're walking and talking, like you're settling your beef. And what happened? You guys are like best friends. You were like hanging out prior. Well, he goes upstairs. I'm like, yeah, go to bed. Like, whatever, right? I'm not like, I don't want to push. The girls, actually, I think at this point they follow him or they go up to their room as well, or they're like figuring out the sleepover. There's like a sleepover room where there's 2 beds and they have pull-outs. So it's like 4 beds. I'm like, whatever. This is like past 11 at this point. I'm like, finally, I can like put on my PJs and go to goddamn bed. Like, I'm in my bed at 8 p.m. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not... I don't care that much, but whatever. I'm starting to lay down. It's like 11:15, 11:20, right? The story is not ending, you guys. The story continues on. And actually, this is where it gets like a little bit like touchy-feely. And honestly, I'm glad that I was there. Nanny Mom is calling me. And like, Nanny Mom's like, cool. Like, she was freaking out at him for like, I get it. He's a sophomore. Like, it's, dangerous being out and like not telling your parents. Like, I get that, whatever. Well, that's why I didn't really get to talk to him as he went up the stairs, because he was like on the phone with his mom and she was like parenting, obviously. Well, it's like 11:20. Let's pull up the receipts. When did she call me the last time? Friday, 11:06. I'm getting into bed. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, what the fuck? This is not what you signed up for. Like, thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, no worries. Like, I thought she just like wanted to hear my perspective. She's like, I have one more request for you. And I'm like, okay, like, what's up? And she was like, A is upstairs, like sobbing. Like, he is like not okay. Like, can you go, be a big sister? Because A like calls me his big sister. I would say E does too, but like me and A, I don't know. Like, we both have a special, different, unique relationship, but I'm like, oh my gosh, of course. Like, is he okay? And she's like, yeah, we just like, I was like scolding him, but then like he started talking about the conversation with his friend. I'm like, yeah, let me go. I was like, okay, let me hang up. Like, let me go upstairs. Like, that makes me so sad. Like, he's a 15-year-old boy. Like, I don't want him to be upset. And I'm like in the house, And I go up there and he's like crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, And I was like, do you want a hug? And he comes over and he gives me a big hug. And he starts telling me kind of what happened. And basically, like, on one hand, I'm like, these sophomore boys, like, they're so like emotionally in tune, but I'm like, what kind of fucking sophomore boys are like having these kinds of conversations? A has ADHD like badly. He's like medicated for it. And at the end of the day, it starts to wear off. And he just like, he can be a little bit like goofy and annoying and just like very like hyperactive. Like, he has like, it's very much ADHD if I've ever seen it. And he kind of gets goofy, but like, here's the thing. He's a sophomore. He's a 15-year-old boy. Like, 15-year-old boys just say stupid shit, but like, he'll say stupid shit. I don't think he's ever like mean, but like you make jokes. Well, essentially what happened, I gathered, is X is talking to a girl from a different school. Again, it's like high school bullshit if you've ever heard it. They were all at the football game together, and they were around one of the girls that came over after the game. I think dated X briefly. I don't know. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of this sophomore drama, but A was probably like really amped up and like let it slip or like made a comment about X talking to some girl from a different school, which like I don't even think this other little girl or like girl cared, but there was clearly like built up resentment because they went to Froyo and then they went and like hung out at a park, and like X kind of exploded that like A isn't, well, it didn't explode here, but like it kind of started. So then they left the park, and that's when A got dropped off by his friends, and X had drove separately at this point. So X showed up separately to talk to A, and it like exploded on him and basically started ripping into him. What this whole 2-hour walk around the block was X like ripping into A about like not being a good friend and like saying like bad things and like not being a good friend, which A was explaining this to me like as he's like upset and like crying, and he's like, he's not wrong with some of the things he's saying, but like also I think this kid like went a little too hard. Like he was kind of just fucking being mean, right? Just like clearly again there's like built up resentment. I'm like, what kind of boys like have this kind of conversation? I'm like, it's great that he's like calling him, like you need friends that call you on your bullshit, but I'm like 2 hours of literally this kid just ripping into him. A was like, I didn't really say anything, and also like saying things about their other friends. Like I don't know, they're fucking hormone testosterone fucking jacked up 15-year-olds, right? Like this kid was obviously just like hot-headed, whatever. It's like one of his very best friends, but like basically he just like railed into A for like 2 hours, saying just like talking mad shit to him. And A's like, some of it was valid. Like, yes, I do say stupid shit. Like I go to this place and like I need to be better about that, and I'm not the nicest or I'm not the best friend to this other friend, and that's what like he was calling out, whatever. But like basically just fucking ripped the shit out of him. Like he's like crying over this. Like he felt like so horrible. Like he felt so bad. And like he didn't, interrupt. Like he was like, I just like let him talk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm literally so sorry. And I just sat there and listened, and he kind of like went over and over and over and over and talked and talked and talked. And I was like, hey, I'm here after like 30 minutes. So now it's like 11:45. Nanny mom is FaceTiming him, and he's like, hey mom, and then he pans to me and she's like, oh my gosh, you're still up there? I'm like, yeah, I'm just hanging out. And they talk a little bit and then they hang up, and I'm like, hey, like he's good at this point. He's still kind of just like venting and going over the same thing. Like this is pretty much just like the brunt of it. And I'm like, no, you're good. Like, I will sit here forever. Like, they're like my family, right? Like, he is like a little brother to me. I love him so much. And I wasn't even giving advice. Like, I just like, that's not my place. I was just like letting him talk. And I'm like, yep. And then finally I'm like, if you want me up here, I'll stay up here. We can sit and chat forever. I'm like, I can go downstairs. Like, do you want me? Do you not? And like, whatever. And finally I go downstairs at like midnight. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, if you need anything, I'm downstairs. I'm like, if you want me to stay, I can. Like, I just wanted to make sure he was good. But I go downstairs, and then we wake up in the morning, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm groggy as hell. I wake up naturally at like 6 a.m. because that's what I do. I'm typically in bed at 8 p.m. It's fine. Again, I'm so glad I was there. Nanny mom texts me and she's like, again, thank you so much. Like, I cannot believe all of this happened. Like, this never happens. She's like, the one weekend we're gone. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. Well, then in the morning, of course, he's like talking. His friends, like, we're all checking in on him. They must have known that X was like hot and like coming at him. And he just like explained like what happened, and they were like, dude, like that's, we're so sorry, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, there's like definitely major like friend beef happening. Like, it sounds like everybody's not on A's side. He just kind of like, A is like owning up. He like was talking to the friend that X said he's a bad friend to, and he was like telling him, he's like, I know I'm not the best friend to you, like I need to be better, and like not, they make jokes, but again, like you roast your fucking friends. I'm like, we're talking about like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Whatever. Saturday, we hang out. I took Nanny Boy to a workout. I took Nanny Girl to dance. Nanny Girl went to this bat mitzvah, blah, 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 blah. I went and grabbed everybody Starbucks. The mom came back. She dropped a rough, blah, 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 blah. Then we're all home. Carter comes over. We all order food. And then Carter leaves because he was stressed, and Nanny Boy was watching like some sort of fight. So then me and Nanny Girl went and watched Coyote Ugly. Y'all, Coyote Ugly is like the most iconic movie ever, and I forgot how good it is. It's like the one movie that I've seen again and again and again. Baby, you're the right kind of wrong. Can't fight the moonlight. Oh, the outfits, the dancing on the bar top. If you haven't seen Coyote Ugly, I think it came out in literally 2000. I love it so much. I love it so much. And that was Nanny Girl's first time watching it. That was Saturday night. Sunday morning, we wake up and we go to Sugar and Sage, the pastry place. Delicious. And then I had to take Nanny Boy to baseball. He drove us in the Tesla, which was like a little bit scary. It was like a 25-minute drive. It was way up in Plano. And then I drove home, and I got home and Carter was there. I went up, I said goodbye to Chicken. She was doing homework, and then her parents were coming home like in an hour. They were like on the flight already. That was Sunday. And then that was it. Let's catch up now during this week. Little Sweet May Dog and I went to the vet yesterday because she has a sty or some sort of infection. They didn't really tell me. You guys, I love her doctor so much. Dr. Hurd. Oh my gosh. They love May. Everybody there loves May. And I'm just like so glad we go in. The doctor, like, she gets down on the ground to just like be with May and like let her jump all over her. And we're going to switch May's food. Carter went down a rabbit hole once on Fresh Pet. And because it's refrigerated, there have been moments where it goes bad, whether it's like because it wasn't cooled properly. I don't know. We've never had issues with it, and it's literally the food I've used for 4 years. But as she's getting older, I don't know. I was like, let me just ask the vet the next time I go. And therefore, I asked Dr. Hurd, I'm like, what would you recommend? Like, if this was your dog, I know you love her, like, what would you say? And she was like, well, do you want like my, the scientific? I'm like, give it to me all. And she sits there and she tells me that like 95% of foods on the dog market, or like dog foods, are not, it's not FDA approved, but there's like that for dog food. She's like, most of them are not approved. She's like, there's 5% that are. And she's like, the top 4 are like Royal Canine, Purina, the Pro Plan of Purina, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I would do the Pro Plan. They have a 7-year-old plus. It's like a senior dog one. That's salmon and rice. She said it's good for dogs that get upset tummies, like our little baby here. And I went afterwards and got this food, a 24-pound bag, which is pretty big. It's hard food, and I need to figure out how I'm going to soften it, because I just feel like she's had this wonderful Fresh Pet for so long and it's soft, and I just feel bad putting her on a hard food now. But I think I can just like run it underwater and let it soak for a second. And then they gave us eye drops. They also took her blood. We do biannual blood work. That way we can see if anything's going on, that she's healthy. I also yesterday hung curtains in our bedroom. I haven't shared these online yet because I'm still figuring out one of the brackets. Brackets is kind of fucked up, but it's the middle one. I like am such an independent person, but like if you're like me, something always goes wrong. It's like when I made the credenzas and those doors wouldn't close, I'm like, motherfucker. I did the 2 brackets on the outside, but they recommended that if it was like a certain length that you should put one in the middle. And I don't know what happened. It's fine because it's not really taking the brunt of the weight. I also want to figure out, like, I think technically an interior design speak, you should have 2 panels on each side. Again, it depends on the length, but like when I pull the curtains close, they're like straight across, they cover, but then they're like completely flat, which I just like don't think is the vibe. But it's also in our bedroom and I don't give a fuck. I went to Home Goods yesterday And that's what I went for. I found curtains. They are Ralph Lauren. It was $75 for 2 panels, which if you know nothing about curtains, I was looking online, and the reason I went to Home Goods is because this shit is so expensive. I'm like, why are curtains like you get 1 panel? That's like over $100, $200 if you want a really nice one, like a blackout. And these were blackout. It was $75 for 2 panels. But again, you're supposed to do like a certain amount. So then it should be 2 panels. I'm still deciding if I want to do that or if I just like don't give a actual fuck because it's our bedroom and who cares, like as long as it covers the window. I'm still deciding because then I got 2 sets, so I have 4 panels, but I'm like, if I could return them, they were $75 each, I could get $75 back. I also got that black vase. If you saw, I'm still undecided. I got this little drink side table. I love it. I'm just, again, I'm like, I'm trying to decide what I like, what I don't like. Oh, can we also talk about the new iPhone? I don't know shit about iPhones. And I typically, like, I'm not even going wild over the iPhone, but I bought this iPhone. This is a 12. It's not even is it a Pro? What the fuck does Pro even mean? That's my other issue. I went on and number one, let me just say, wait, Brenna Berg, what phone? Okay, this is an iPhone 12 Max. Okay, I got this phone, I believe actually, Christmas 2020. I was in Reno, Nevada with my ex-boyfriend's family, and his mom was showing me these photos that she took on a hike, and I had one of those phones still with only 1 camera, and she's like, oh my gosh, Brenna, you need to get the 3 cameras. Like, it's incredible. I think the 3 cameras came out in like 2019. I don't know what iPhone, if it was the 12 or it was the 11, but I went then and there. I ordered for pickup this phone in my hand, Reno, Apple. I got this phone. So I've had this phone for 5 years, which is great and phenomenal. I have thought about getting a new one because in the past, whenever I've gotten an iPhone, which I've probably only had a handful in my life, maybe like 2, 3, maybe, I don't really know. I've always gotten the least amount of gigabytes because before I became a content creator, I wasn't like a big phone person. So I always was like, I don't want to pay more for extra storage. Like, I don't need it. Well, then I became a content creator, and especially now that I'm doing these morning in the lives, when I do the morning in the life, you guys, I'm editing down 30 minutes of footage because I'm setting up the camera and it's like obviously filming me the whole time, and then I edit it down to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but it's like a lot of footage. And every once in a while, I have issues with the storage being full. Then I go in, I clear my cache on TikTok, and I delete all of my like videos that I'm done with and blah, 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 blah. But it would be really nice. And I know a lot of people do the iCloud thing, something about paying 99 cents, because then it's just going to keep going up. I don't want to pay for the rest of my life to like store footage because most of it I can just delete after. And once, like last year when I started just like doing more content in general, I'm like, I think I need to like get a new phone with more storage, but like I don't need any new features. Like that's really the one thing that I need. And I'm like, I don't need the newest, nicest iPhone. Like as long as it has the 3 cameras, like it's so hard to decide because they also get rid of old ones. Like I would just get this same phone. Oh, my camera overheated. What was I talking about? The iPhone, I think. Basically, I was watching the new iPhone. Well, here's the thing also. The other morning, I was filming a morning in the life, and I go to my camera, and the thing that happens is I'll set it up to film, and then all of a sudden I'll get to it, and it's like, couldn't film, storage full, and you're like, fuck! Right. And I said that, and Carter's like, what are you cussing about? And I said, my goddamn storage. But like, I can go in and clear it out and it opens a lot of space, but it's just like annoying, obviously. And he's like, get a new phone. Like Carter, oh, it's like so wonderful. I just like so badly wish I was a shopper because he is like the biggest. He literally told me this phone was $1,700, which number one is not true. It's not that much. But I was like, how much is the new iPhone? He's like, I don't know, like $1,700. He's like, you should get one. Like it's for your work. I'm like, how do you just so cash? Oh, in my literal dreams. I swear to God, you guys, I literally look down and I see on my screen that the audio isn't recording. I was talking about the iPhone. Basically, I watched a video explaining, did I explain this? Let me break this down again. There's all of these differences and I cannot understand. My biggest first world problem is when it comes to things like, for example, concert tickets. When the front row seats are only $100 more, dollars more than the next thing up. Like in my head, I have a number and it's like made up for every circumstance. And I don't even know the number until I'm staring it in the face, that like I'm accepted or I'm accepting or I'm willing to pay more if it's like a certain dollar amount more. So like for the iPhone, for example, like if the iPhone 17 was $500 less than the 17 Pro, I would just get the 17. But they're only like $100. Like on some things, I'm like, I'm fine with like the lesser option. I don't always need the biggest, best brand new thing, right? But like at a certain dollar mark, Brenna, I swear everybody in this room right now, the system that I'm using to film and my brain wants me to stop because nothing is really functioning right now. But like when it comes to a car, like I don't want or need a brand new car when we eventually get a car. I'm like, I would be happy with a 2020 if it like, again, but there has to be a certain price. Like, and it obviously differs based on the price itself. Like to me, again, I'm speaking hypotheticals. And again, I would have to be looking it in the face. But like if a 2020 4Runner was $30,000, which this isn't real, I'm just like making up this number. But the 2025 4Runner is $35,000. I'll justify the $5,000. Oh, Brenna, please. $5,000, right, and get the new one. But let's say the 2020 is $30,000 and the brand new is $50,000. I'm like, I'll just get the $20,000. Like I'll do the older one, right? Like there's always a hypothetical number and like amount that I'm willing and not willing to spend, right? In all things. And that's how I feel about the iPhone. I'm like, how much is the iPhone 16? I have no idea. Do they even make it? Because I'll get that. I don't need the newest, nicest one. I just need something with a lot of storage that has the 3 cameras. But like if it's only $200 less, like why would I not get the newer one? You know what I mean? That's what I'm dealing with. I'm going to have to look into all of that. Let me keep this moving. Y'all, like literally everything, the odds are against me. Things that... Oh, you guys, my morning vlog yesterday, I almost like rescued a puppy and like, or a dog. You have to go watch the whole thing. Oh my gosh, my morning vlog from Wednesday. I just set out on a run. I hadn't even ran 0.1 miles. And right down the street from our house was a dog just like walking on the sidewalk. Nobody in sight. And I finally got up to him and he wasn't angry or aggressive. His skin was bad. I was like, oh, like you got to be careful with disease. And also if they bite you, like obviously I like approached him very slowly and I ran home, got the collar. Oh my gosh. And he slipped out. And then he went up to this house, this like really scary house. I like didn't say this in the vlog, but like, it just was like sketchy. I wasn't going to go on this doorstep. Like he was sitting at the door and like, or anybody's doorstep. Like, I sat there for so long. Like, I don't think I reiterated enough in the video. Like I sat there for like an hour of my morning. I was like focused on this dog. And then the rest of the day I kept going on walks to try and find him. And I never saw him again. If I come across him, I'm fucking picking that little shit up. I just like his skin and I like, what if I picked him up and then he got aggressive? Like I got this collar on him, but even on its smallest thing, he slipped out. And anywho, so I almost rescued a little puppy. I didn't think on keeping him. I just like, I don't know what you do when you come across a stray dog. I just wanted to get him to the vet because obviously they could call somebody or like they know what to do and also to take care of him and like his wounds. Oh, that was so sad. What are we even talking about? That's an episode or a segment on this and I have nothing. Things I'm pissed off about, the only thing I've written down, not seeing my husband. I just like straight up have not seen Carter. And it's not upsetting because honestly, that's like, I was sitting in bed reading and I'm like, this isn't that bad. Like I just get to hang out, but of course I want to see him and spend time. Like I've gotten zero hangout time with Carter. Zero. And the fact that he's stressed like that, I feel that and I feel bad. Like he was working last night. I'm like, babe, anything I can do, like literally anything you need me to like go shit for you. Like I can do that. Like what can I do? I just like, there's nothing I can do. He just needs to like sit down and work. Obviously I get him food and stuff, but anyways, that's what I'm pissed off about. Things I'm hyper fixating on, the same stupid bullshit, clothes, home decor, that's about it. Books. I had finished this. So I didn't pick up a new book because I was on Libby and I had all of these problems with fucking Libby. I got into bed and then I needed this password and I needed my library card, but I keep my phone downstairs when I sleep. I keep it just downstairs. I plug it in at like 8 p.m. and then I go up and then I don't have it until the morning time. And I was in bed and I needed my library code pin and I didn't want to go up and get it. And then the next night I did the library pin, but then we started playing Yahtzee. And so we played Yahtzee one night, which was fine. And then we played it the next night. And then I finally get on Libby and I find a book that I want to read. And then I need to bring it on over to Kindle and I need to log into Amazon on my iPad. And then I need a code that was sent to my phone. It wasn't popping up on the text messages on my iPad. I'm like, what the fuck? What are we even talking about? This can be a part of what are we even talking about? And then finally, like literally 2 days ago, I brought the iPad down in the morning and I did the code and I pulled up the book and I'm now reading The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Relubek, something like that. He's the one who wrote Hidden Pictures. I'm already sucked in. I actually got a few comments on the story that I posted about it, and a few of you didn't like this book. And the reviews actually on Goodreads is like a 3 point something, which isn't bad, but it's not the best. Like I try and stick around books that are 4. If it's a 4.0, I can typically appreciate the book and enjoy it. However, I'm already like hooked in. Like I love the setting. I love the scene. It's amazing so far. Coming up, Tate McRae performs tonight in Dallas. If you guys see me, just know, because this will be out tomorrow. If I post about it, I bought tickets last minute. I've been thinking about it. I texted Natalie. She teaches dance tonight and she has a flight in the morning. I could also just go by myself, but then I was looking at tickets. I'm like, do I really want? I'm not like the biggest Tate McRae fan. I always love seeing her on my For You page. I think she is Britney Spears today, kind of. Like, obviously it's very different, but like she can dance. She puts on a show. Like from all the videos I've seen, I think it would just be like a really good experience. I'm still thinking about it. So if you see me there, just know I bought the tickets literally less than 6 hours in advance. And then I also might this weekend. Carter's going to be working. Like he's going to be busy AF. This puppy yoga studio reached out to me. I did one before. This is a different one. They just opened last month, but it was when we went and got married. And then I don't know what else, but they offered me free classes, me and a plus one, for the 2 opening weekends, but we were gone and then something else was happening. I couldn't go. Well, I reached out to them because I saw this week they have Frenchers. I messaged them this morning. I really hope they say I can come. I don't know how much the tickets are. I think they charge like $60 or $70. It's not worth it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not worth it. Like, that's a lot of fucking money. I get it. And they do let you be there for a while. I think like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But what? I'm going to try and get it for free. You guys know I typically don't use the influencer perks. Like I hate asking, but I was like, well, the thing that gave me the confidence is I went on their website and like you can click on the days and it shows if they're sold out. None of them are sold out. So I'm like, you guys have tickets. Like none of these are taken up, not one singular time. And like, I'll let them pick the time. I don't care, but I want to go see the Frencher puppies. So this weekend, fingers crossed, everybody pray for me that I'm able to go in and see these Frenchers. I also feel like I'd be cheating on May, but it's fine. Anywho, okay, you guys, I don't have any questions this week. I'm starving. It is 11:30. I haven't eaten yet, and I went on a 4-mile run this morning. That's all. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys. Oh, the last thing that I wanted to say, I had this at the very beginning of my notes app. Last week, I told you guys, or maybe a week before, that like I was telling you guys that you should feel special, but I also want you guys to know, because something that happened with the Carter reveal, a lot of people were being like, oh my God, you got married? Did I miss a chapter? What happened? And I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm like, if you listen to the podcast, I also feel like an immense amount of pride for you guys. Like, I don't even want to tell people that I have a podcast episode on it. I'm like, nope, only the real ones. Like, I feel very protective of you who listen to the podcast. Like, no, literally, I was getting upset. That is one of my quirks. Like, if somebody, for example, when I started becoming a social media person, of course, people from my past life started reaching, hey, how are you? I'm like, fuck you. Like, I hate when people which this is different. Like, people would just genuinely want to know. Okay, that was like a bad example. But like, I was trying to explain this feeling. Like, I'm like a very protective, same with I don't know. Oh, well, when I started dating Carter and I had friends from the past who I hadn't spoken to, everybody wants to see a photo. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, I saw that no, I'm not going to show you this man. We haven't spoken in years. Like, I'm just like, no. I think I'm just like a selfish, greedy person. That's how I feel about you guys. Like, people are like, oh my gosh. I'm like, podcast people know. My best friends know on the pod. I'm like, no, don't go listen now. Right? Because only my best friends know. So just know that I was kind of scoffing at everybody. I'm like, loser. Like, sorry, can't tell you now. Should have been there, but you weren't. Only my real ones were. I didn't need to tell you guys that, but I literally was feeling it in my bones. Like, I was kind of getting angry. I'm like, you snooze, you lose, bitches. Anywho, happy Friday. I hope you guys have the best weekend ever. And I will see you on Monday. Okay. Bye, guys.